Welcome back. As we've said, the DOJ's announcement today that it's naming a special counsel comes after former President Trump announced his run for president earlier this week, the fallout of which was probably not what Trump had hoped for. Not much buzz, no big name endorsements, no fat campaign checks. What we have seen are multiple stories of prominent Republican donors who fueled his last two presidential runs, passing on him. And yet Republicans, even some presidential hopefuls, who are going to have to defeat him in a primary, still seem afraid of distancing themselves too much from the former president. House Republicans, whose narrow majority can arguably be blamed, at least in part, on voters' clear dislike of Trump, are going full steam ahead with some of Trump's priorities. Republicans in the House Judiciary Committee today telegraphed potential investigations into the border and the Justice Department's handling of the Mar-a-Lago probe. And that comes after yesterday, the two Republican congressmen who are in line to chair the House Oversight and House Judiciary Committees held a press conference to announce an investigation into Hunter Biden, an action ripped straight from Mr. Trump's 2020 campaign playbook. And despite their narrow majority in the House, and despite being rejected by voters in toss-up districts, Republicans seem to be proceeding as if they flipped 50 seats last week. Earlier this week, Republican leader and Speaker hopeful Kevin McCarthy said as much.
The one thing I know in Washington, they don't hand the gavels out in small, medium, and large size. It's one size gavel with the ability to subpoena and hold this government accountable, secure this border, fight to make us energy independent, give parents a say in their kids' education, and actually look what the DOJ is doing, what the DHS is doing, and others. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
Well, joining me now is someone who used to be a member of the House Republican Conference. It's former Florida Congressman Francis Rooney. Congressman, it is good to see you. I'm hearing Kevin McCarthy and Jim Jordan and James Comer talk about what they want to do, and I'm thinking, are House Republicans in 2022 about to go down the same road as House Republicans of 2010? And all that did was help Barack Obama win re-election in 2012. And with a focus, sort of not in that direction that might have helped them actually win all of the corners of power in 2012. What do you see in these first few days?
Well, it's not super encouraging. For the asymmetry that you described is not super encouraging, that while Trump buried us with these elections, so many people are still currying favor and hiding under Trump's penumbra, and I don't see the value in that. And to keep hearkening back on the past, I think Hunter Biden probably has done some bad things from what I've read, but the American people want solutions to inflation, to our loss of stature in the world when the people won't even call the president back like MBS. I think they want stability. They want oil prices to go down, but they have to go down through the free market, not through ridiculous outreaches like the Biden administration has perpetrated, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. But the American people want solutions, not treading back on the past.
I'm just curious because right now, look, I get the pressure Kevin McCarthy's under. He's trying to get to 218, and it's his right flank that is essentially holding their votes as leverage over him. But the majority was made by Republicans who distanced themselves from Trump, who won on issues like crime, education, inflation, energy, places like New York, Oregon, California, very blue areas. In fact, you can make an argument that the majority was made in districts that Biden carried. When do you expect those members to put the same pressure on McCarthy that the right flank is doing?
Well, they should, because what you're saying is absolutely correct. The world has moved beyond Trump, but there are a certain number of very conservative Republicans who don't seem to have that figured out yet.
Well, let me ask you this, because you were a member of Congress and you saw the Trump effect. The people that show up at your town hall meetings are closer to the base than necessarily the people that provide the 50% plus one to win a general election. My point is, I wonder how many members of Congress are only hearing from the constituents that show up to the meetings, and those that show up are usually the Trump supporters.
Well, my district was a little different because it's R plus God knows what, 16 or something,
Okay,
and
yeah.
some very conservative people who were not happy with me being the first Republican to break from Trump, something which I'm quite proud of right now.
Well, so you understand what some of these folks, I mean, you are willing to put your political career on the line to do that. Many of your former colleagues will not.
Well, see, now that highlights a problem with the entire operation of Congress. For most of these people, it's the best job they'll ever get.
Yeah. Oh, looks like you froze there for a second. Yep. Sorry, your last comment froze there for a second.
Well, I
you were
think
saying
that
the best
highlights
job
the
they ever got. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, it's the best job they'll ever get, and they cling like a barnacle to a piling to hold on to it instead of trying to serve the people and do the best for our country. The forefathers never would have assumed we would need term limits because no one wanted to serve that long anyway.
And is that what you think is the only solution at this point?
I think it could be one of the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
I think return of the fairness doctrine, if you could figure out how to do it in the digital era, would be a good thing. And I think getting rid of these gerrymandered districts, both sides, would be good. So that the contest is in the general, not the primary.
I want to talk a little bit quickly on 2024. I spoke with the former vice president, for quite some time yesterday at the Reagan Library. And his basic pitch is going to be, if you like what we did in the Trump-Pence administration, but you're looking for new leadership, why don't you give me a shot? Is that something that can win a Republican primary in your view?
I think it could be, but it might not be him. Could be him. But I've heard the same thing about Governor Youngkin and about Governor DeSantis, that you can get the same good Republican policies without the baggage of Trump. And I think people want that.
And how do you talk them into getting into this race if it means being subject to Donald Trump attacks?
I think those guys are pretty tough guys, okay? Ron has proven his mettle many times in Florida, and Governor Youngkin was chairman of Carlisle. That's a pretty big job. He's probably plenty used to controversy and difficult situations.
Is there anything Donald Trump could do to win you back? I'm just curious. Or is he, to you, in your mind, forever severed his ability to lead?
No, I wouldn't be for him. I think, first of all, I think any decent Republican would have done most of the things he did. Mm-hmm. I don't particularly consider the Abraham Accords a great foreign policy victory, overturning 70 years of stable two-state policy. I think it was reckless. Mm-hmm. The economic stuff he did, any Republican would have done. So I think we just need a new Republican.
Congressman Francis Rooney, former Republican congressman from Florida. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.